So our last two triangle congruency proofs are angle side angle, and that's saying if two angles and the included side this time, so included, remember, is in between. Okay, so if two angles and the side in between those two angles match up with two angles and the side between the angles of another triangle, we can say that the entire two triangles are congruent figures. Okay, and then the last one is angle angle side. Okay, so an angle angle side, again, with both of these, with all of our triangle congruency theorems, the order matters. So angle angle side goes if two angles and the non-included side. So that this side is not in between my two angles. Okay, so if two angles and the non-included side of one triangle match up to two angles in the corresponding non-included side of the second, we can say that both the triangles are congruent. So remember, order matters. Okay? Now, what is not a triangle congruency theorem? Not a theorem. I'm going to do it backwards. Side angle. Okay? We call this the donkey theorem. And I'm sure you can tell why. All right, so no donkeys. If your order goes side angle or angle side, that is not enough to prove that the two triangles are congruent. All right, that's going to involve stuff that you'll talk about in future math classes, okay? But the donkey theorem does not work. That's not enough proof to show that two triangles are congruent. All right, so make sure that if you've got a donkey, that's not enough to show congruency. So in example 3, can we show that the triangles are congruent? All right, with any of the theorems that we've talked about, side angle side, angle side angle, angle side, and HL, hypotenuse leg. All right, order is important. Okay, so let's see. In A, I'm going to zoom in here. Do we have enough in A to prove that these two triangles are congruent? Well, we are given that two angles match up. All right, anything else that I can conclude from this diagram? Well, I've got vertical angles here. All right, do I know anything about the sides? No. Okay, is there enough information? No. We need to know about the sides. We need to know something about the sides. So postulator theorem, not applicable. We don't have enough for that one. Okay, we need to know. Look at all these theorems. All of these theorems, we at least need to know something about one side. All right, so let's go then to B. Look at B real quick. Is there anything that we can say about B? All right, hopefully you see that these two triangles share a side. They share a side. And when I put that tick mark in there, because the reflexive property, that shared side, is congruent between both of my triangles, you can see that this is angle, side. If I start here, let me get my highlighter, angle, then I have another angle, and then I have a side. In my other triangle, I have angle, then another angle, then that shared side. All right, so is there enough? Yes. What's my theorem? Angle, side. All right, then we get to, let me scroll down, part C. Check this out for a quick second. Try to figure out if these two triangles are congruent and why. All right, so we've got an angle that matches up. We've got a side length that matches up. Anything else? Well, whenever we see vertical angles, we want to include those. All right, and as soon as I say that, as soon as I put those vertical angles in there, the order, and I'm going to make this a little smaller. Let's get this color. Angle, and then a side length, and then another angle. Matches up with angle, and then a side length, and then another angle. So is there enough information? Yes. What is my theorem? What did I have in the correct order? Angle, side, angle. All right, so let me just go back and say for like part B and C, what helped us? B was a shared side. That's what we needed to pull from my diagram. C was vertical angles. That's what we needed to pull from our diagram. So that's what we need to look for. All right, we need to use our givens, and then we need to look at the diagram to see if we can pull any other information from there. All right? All right, so last thing I want you guys to do, let me see if I can make this, there we go. These three you try now. It's got one that's kind of an informal proof, and then number 2 and 3 are your formal proofs. Okay? For number 3, if I'm giving you information with triangles and I'm asking you to prove that these two angles are congruent, remember that's called corresponding parts in congruent triangles are congruent, CPCTC. So first, in number 3, we need to show that the two triangles are congruent so that I can then say angle B is congruent to angle D. So that's kind of a hint for number 3. But try out these 3 you try now problems. We'll go over them in class, and then we'll get to practicing on proofs. Practice makes perfect on these proofs, so we definitely need to practice all of them. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good one.